Have you ever noticed that ADHD is often associated with boys rather than girls? It might seem that way, but the reality is much more complex. Today, we're exploring ADHD in women and why it often flies under the radar. Here's a surprising fact: boys are diagnosed with ADHD about 3 times more often than girls. But that doesn't mean boys are more likely to have it. It just shows up differently in girls, making it harder to spot. So, what's really happening here? It comes down to how ADHD presents itself across genders. In boys and men, ADHD tends to manifest as hyperactivity. You've seen it: the bouncing off the walls, impulsive behavior, blurting out answers, making quick decisions without thinking things through. They might have trouble following rules and staying out of trouble. In girls and women, it's often more subtle. They may struggle with inattentiveness, have difficulty focusing, especially on mundane tasks, and experience disorganization, constantly misplacing things and battling time management. Emotional sensitivity is another big factor, with intense emotions and trouble regulating moods. Here's how this looks in real life. A man with ADHD might be the one fidgeting in meetings, making impulsive decisions like quitting his job without a plan, or engaging in risky behaviors like speeding. Meanwhile, a woman with ADHD could appear to be listening but is lost in thought, consistently losing important items and struggling with procrastination due to feeling overwhelmed by everyday tasks. While these are common patterns, both men and women can show a wide range of symptoms. Yet, these differences often result in women being diagnosed much later in life, sometimes not until adulthood. And this delay can have serious consequences. One study, which I'll link in the description, found that women with ADHD are more likely to have additional psychiatric conditions, less likely to be in full-time employment, and more likely to experience divorce compared to men with ADHD. Now, let's talk hormones. For women with ADHD, hormonal fluctuations can have a huge impact. Many report that their symptoms change throughout their menstrual cycle, particularly in the 2 weeks before their period. This is because estrogen and progesterone levels affect dopamine function in the brain, a key factor in ADHD. Pregnancy and menopause can also shift ADHD symptoms. Some women notice improvement during pregnancy, while others don't see much change. But after childbirth, the rapid drop in hormones can make symptoms worse. Menopause, too, can complicate things. The decrease in estrogen makes it harder to focus and regulate emotions, even for women without ADHD. Another key difference between men and women with ADHD lies in the conditions that often accompany it. Men are more prone to substance abuse disorders, disruptive behavior, and risky habits. Women, on the other hand, tend to experience anxiety, depression, sleep problems, and emotional regulation issues. These differences make diagnosis tricky. Women's ADHD is sometimes mistaken for depression or anxiety, leading to treatments that don't target the real issue. And to be clear, depression can also disrupt focus, concentration, and motivation, which makes distinguishing between the two challenging. They're not mutually exclusive, they can coexist. So, what can we do with this information? If you're a woman who's always felt different but never understood why, consider the possibility of ADHD. Don't let the stereotype of hyperactive little boys stop you from seeking help. Look for signs like chronic disorganization, forgetfulness, difficulty starting and completing tasks, feeling overwhelmed by daily responsibilities, or a history of underachievement and frequent job changes. If you're a parent, teacher, or healthcare provider, be mindful that ADHD can look different in girls. Pay attention to signs of inattention and disorganization, not just hyperactivity. For those already diagnosed with ADHD, understanding these gender differences can help manage symptoms. For instance, women might benefit from tracking their symptoms in relation to their menstrual cycle. Hormonal treatments could be an option for those whose ADHD symptoms are strongly affected by hormonal fluctuations. And both men and women can benefit from cognitive behavioral therapy. Remember, ADHD is a real neurobiological condition. It's not about laziness or a lack of willpower. With the right diagnosis and treatment, both men and women with ADHD can thrive. Treatment might involve medication, therapy, lifestyle changes, and support groups, all aimed at improving time management and organization. Thanks for tuning in today. See you next time.